And are you tired of seeing this makeup look and this shirt? Because I am, but I'm in my beauty room, as you can tell. You see? And we are still filming, as you saw by the thumbnail and the title. We are doing the bronzers this time. And depending on how long it takes to get through all of the bronzers, we may end up going into the bronzer and highlighter palettes because I've got them all separated out. Total bronzers that I have, bronzer contour, it's the same thing to me, is 15. It's just the bronzer contour. It has nothing else in the palette. I do have some full face palettes, which I'll probably add with this category because the full face palettes, there's only 3. I have 6 blush and bronzer highlight. Blush and bronzers, I have 6. And then bronzer and highlight, I have 6. And I have 15 bronzers total. The blushes are another story. We'll talk about that in a different video. Okay? And remember, no judgment. I am a hoarder. I know I am a hoarder. And I need to go to Makeup Anonymous and stop getting makeup. With that being said, I believe in a previous video I said I was going to get the Ipsy for February and March and then put it on hold for a while. I'm probably going to be putting it on hold. I want to get the February one at least. And March is my birthday. I don't know what I'm going to do. I might put it on hold. I might not. I know I'm not getting January's because it's already January. So I'm not getting January's. I'll probably get February's because I usually like the bag for February, just like I like the bag for October. Anyway, I digress. Let's get into the bronzer contours. So we're going to start with the ones that I have used, which is there really just 2? I believe there are just 2. The rest of them I have not used yet. Okay, so the 2 that I have used already is the Ciate London Bamboo Bronzer, and this is in the shade Palm Island. If you remember, I don't know if, yep, you'll be able to see it. You see the stars, some of the stars are still in there, but you can actually see the honeycomb from the pan. I can see it. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it or not. But you can see the honeycomb in the pan. So I've used that one. Then of course I've used the Ulta Beauty. This is in the shade Warm Matte Bronzer. And I did hit pan on this, obviously. And that's what I mean when I say the honeycomb. Those crisscrosses. So I have used 2. Remember, what I have in my drawer for my project pan is actually a bronzer and highlight. So that's going to be in a different category because I am putting everything in categories and on a spreadsheet. And then I'm also writing down how many of each thing I have, just so that I know at the end of the year if I've added to it, then obviously that's my bad and I should not have added to it. But if I'm getting the Ipsy for February or March, then I'm probably going to get a blush, a bronzer, or something. Some sort of makeup product. I don't need any more cleansers. I have cleansers for months, years even. And I only have one face. Anyway, let's get into all of the different bronzers we have here. Let me empty them all out of the packet or all out of here, and I will be right back. Okay, so I've got some minis. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 minis. One of them is a cream mini that I got from Ipsy, and it's there. I've not used this yet, so I don't want to TikTok start the clock. Not that that really matters because obviously I have stuff in here from millions of years ago. And then I can never pronounce that, but I have that, and it is in the shade Coquita Bronzer. And there's the shade, and it looks like I've used this one. No, I haven't. Never mind. It just looks a mess, but I've not used it yet. And then we have Defiance Beauty by, I can't make out what it says. Satin Sovereign Bronzer in the shade Goddess Glow, and that's the word I can't make out. And then we have the NARS in Laguna, and I've not used this one yet either. I've had it for a while, so I'm not sure why I haven't used it. Okay, now let's get to the full size ones. So I have this Rimmel London Natural Bronzer, and this is in the shade Sundance, and it's still sealed. Then I have the AOA Studios Perfect Bronzer Powder, and this is in the shade Frappe. And I think I have used this when I've done a full face of AOA Studios. I think I have used this. So I'll put this in the have used pile. And then the last one that's not in a box is the PYT, and this is the Faux Sun Bronzer Duo in Bali. The rest of these are in boxes. So let's go with YC Collection Bronzing Powder, and this is in the shade Enough. And I'm putting everything back in the boxes. Obviously you can tell I haven't used it because none of the lines are disturbed. And then from the ColourPop mystery box that I got, had this Soul Liquid Sun Glow Drops. We have the Jasmine Beauty bronzer, and this is in the shade Beachside Bronze. On camera, that doesn't look as dark as it looks in person. Yeah, that does not look as dark as it looks in person. I don't know why I keep showing it to y'all. It still don't look as dark as it looks in person. And then we have the Shades by Shane bronzer. Have I used this one? Yes, I've used this one too. So I need to put this in with the used. And this is in the shade Latte. I have the Kimchi Chick bronzer, and this is in the shade I Want to Cabo. And then last but not least, we have the Complex Culture in Sunbath. This is a baked bronzer. And let's see, love their packaging. It's just minimalistic. And there's that. So those are the bronzers. Now let me grab out the full face palettes and we'll go through those. Remember, I only have 3. And then we'll see how far we are. We still have time. Then I may go into the bronzer and highlight palettes. And then I will save then we'll see. Okay, so we have this Profusion full face palette. It has the blush, bronzer, then a couple different toppers, a blush topper, a bronzer topper, and then also a highlighter. And I've not used this palette at all. I believe I have used this one. This is the e.l.f. Natural Glow Face Palette. Actually, maybe I haven't. And there's that. And then lastly, the face palette by Misho. Never mind. This is not a face palette. This is a blush palette, so never mind. So we just have 2 face palettes, the e.l.f. and the Profusion. So we just have 2. Now I'm gonna grab out the bronzer and highlight, and then we'll do the bronzer and blush, and then we'll be done with this video. Okay, so now we're gonna get into our bronzer and highlighter palettes. As you know, my project pan is the Glamlite bronzer, the Glamlite Samora palette, which has bronzer and highlight, so that is the first one. And then the ones that I have used are going to be this Too Faced palette, Cocoa Contour. Now granted, I've never used these shades as highlighters, but they are in here as highlighters. Still smells like chocolate, and this thing is forever old. But I am keeping it in my collection because it still smells like chocolate. And then the other one is this Morphe 8H palette, and it has bronzer, contour, and highlights. This is also staying in my collection. So those are the 2 that I have used. The rest of these have not been touched. So let me start with the small one. This is from Beauty Bakery. This is the Lemon Bar palette, and it has 2 contours and a yellowy highlight. And the packaging is so cute. It has like nutritional facts on the back. Isn't that adorable? And then we have the highlighter and contour 2 by Profusion. And then lastly, we have the Big Pawpaw. We have the Cab Cosmetics. This is volume 1, and this is a bronzer and contour. Bronzer. It's supposed to be a bronzer and highlight, but those look more like setting powders to me. But all right, it just says contour. I don't know. I'm not sure where to put this one. See, it says translucent, so this is not a highlight. This is a bronzer and setting powder. So where the heck do I put that? Maybe I just put that in with the bronzers. Yeah, I'll just put this one in with the bronzers because I don't want to make a whole nother category for bronzer and setting powder. This would be my only palette that's bronzer and setting powder. So we're gonna put this with just the bronzers. So I need to add one to the bronzers and take one away from the contour and highlight. Now let me grab out the blush and bronzers. There aren't that many of those, so let me just grab those out. Bear with me just a moment here. So we have 6, and out of the 6, I think I've used all but one. Yes, looks like I've used all of them but one. So let me show you that one that I haven't used. This is from Phase Zero. You can see the blush. This is a full face palette because that's a blush, highlight, and contour. So we are back to having 3 face products, full face products. It says blush and bronzer trio, so maybe that's just a blush topper. So we'll leave this in with the bronzer and the blush. Then I've used this Pacifica one. This is in the shades Desert Sunset, matte blush and bronzer. Shades are Sunset Matte and Desert Matte. I'm not sure which is which. Then we have the Complex Culture. There's those two. We have the Murillo Twins. I'm pretty sure I've used this one as well. Nope, I haven't. So we have 2 that have not been touched. And that's just 2 bronzers and 2 blushes. We have 2 we've not touched and the rest we have touched. And then I have the last 2 are e.l.f. Contouring Blush and Bronzing Powder. This one is in Fiji. And hopefully you don't hear the music because I'm not turning it off. I have my Alexa playing my favorites playlist. And this is the St. Lucia. So those are all of my palettes that have bronzers in them. So my face palettes, my full face palettes, my bronzer and highlighter palettes, and my bronzer and blush palettes. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Please make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you have not already. Ring that notification bell because I will be uploading at least 3 to 4 times a week. Just depends on the week and how big the wheel palette is, and if you're getting 3 or 4 videos. And then as always, please remember to be kind to one another. You know the rest. Bye guys.